Hey everybody, it's Tom from Inspiration Metalworks. Working on the IT7R project today. Now that the lathe is up and running again, I can finish working on the mandrel that I was going to use to turn the brake parts. That went pretty well. Now that I've got things adjusted a little better on the lathe, I was actually able to do a bit better cuts, deeper cuts. So it didn't go quite as long as I thought it was going to take. I'm not quite done with it yet. The idea is solid. I just need to do a couple more parts for it. So basically there's another bushing to make that will align the front part of the mandrel, and then just some some threading so that we can tighten it all together. But it looks like it's going to work out really well. I'm happy about it, and I did shoot some video, so let's take a look at that video. Alright, now that we've got this thing back up and running, let's take a look at it, and I'll show you what I mean. Come in, you can kind of see the difference here. I was getting kind of popped back up. This is where this line here is where it went out on me the other day. But so I'm gonna touch off. Alright, so there we are. So that's a 10/1000 cut. I'm gonna cut this dry. I've been experimenting between dry and oil. And this is 4140. This is a it's gonna be a high-speed steel bit. Nope, carbide. TCMT 3251. So we'll go ahead and get this going. Again, I only have one feed that I can use, so I have to adjust some of my cutting conditions with the depth of cut and things like that. So here we go. This is a 10/1000th cut. I believe we might be a little light on this first section here, so let's wait till we get to the second section where we're doing a full depth of cut, and we'll see what it looks like. This might be the 10/1000th cut. Alright. You guys are watching there. Cut and finish quality is okay. If we look at the, I don't know if you can see it or not, but focus, okay. That's what our chips are looking like coming off. They're breaking okay. Alright, now we're in that full depth of cut. So we're probably closer to 12,000. Which, you know, would mean we're doing, what, 24 over the whole thing. And this whole section we're doing really is just clearance. We want this to be as heavy as we can, so as thick as we can for the support, but it just has to get through the bore of the hub. And you notice now that we're in this section over here, we're getting this long stringy chip, still staying same color. I don't think yeah, we're not getting, the heat's not really getting in there. We'll take a look at that in just a second. This is a 15/1000th cut. And we're getting pretty nice chip. We're getting the blue chip. Finish is looking good. A little stringy. Not bad. It is breaking. Finish doesn't look too bad. beginning to wonder if some of the problems I was having before is because I needed to service the headstock. Get these tightened up a little bit. So in experimenting, I think 17 is kind of my sweet spot for this material at this size. So, good to know. Alright, we should be, let's try this. Alright, 1,375. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. 1,375. Yeah, cool. We are spot on. So that should give us 5,000 clearance on the hub. Let's take a look. I don't know how well you guys can see. So all we're doing really is we're trying to make sure we've got, there we go, got room, and we're going to use this register in here that the bearings go in. Right now all I was doing was just doing the clearance, so let's just make sure. Yep. Alright, it gives us our clearance. It's probably a little more than I was hoping for, but that's okay. So now we got to turn this part down for the register to fit in there. Alright, so I don't know how well you can see the register in there for the bearing, but we want to make sure that we're seated on that register nice and firmly. So this is a lot more precise cut, so we'll be taking our time on this part. Okay, so we know we need to square the shoulder up, but we'll get to that. Nice. So we know though that we need that depth on the hub for the shoulder there is an inch. It's an inch and an eighth overall. I'm actually going to give it a little bit more than that. We go inch 3. Give us a little extra. I'm just going to put a little witness mark here. Give me something to work from. Another check. It's a little closer to 1.25 inches there, but that's okay. It gives me something to work with. But that's our next one, and our critical dimension on this diameter is 1 inch 565. I'd rather be +1 -0 on this one because we want this to register spot on. So if we got to be plus, I'd say 1 or 2 would be good, but I don't want to go under on this one. So we'll hog it off for a bit, and then we'll definitely creep up on it. Try and make sure we get to that dimension as precisely as possible. Now, what's nice about it is when I start to do the checks on it, when you look at this, when you look at the hub itself, there's the clearance for the well, I'm having one of those mornings today, or afternoons now. So you got the clearance for the bearings and the seals, right? So when I can start to slip it in and not get past there, I know that's 5 thousandths. So might start taking a little bit off of it from there. The other thing that I will likely do is once I do that, I'll face what's remaining so that we've got a good surface here. So let's make sure, I'll face what's remaining on the bar here so that when we come in, we'll have a good surface to come up on that. Then I gotta work on the fun part of figuring out how I'm gonna secure it from the other side, but that's for later. One thing at a time. This is 2-inch bar stock, so I know I've got almost a 1/4 inch on each side, a 1/4 inch of cutting, 1/2 inch, overall. So it's just a little bit larger than this. So let's get to cutting. All right, let's take a quick check because we're getting closer. Let's see. All right, so I'm at 1620. Is that right? Yeah, 1620. 1620 even. So we know that we need to get down to 1565, and the part's getting pretty hot too. And I'll be honest, I don't know how much 4140 expands with heat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this part some time to cool off a little bit, and we'll remeasure and come back. So we're starting to get close. 60. We're at 1620. We need to get to 1565. So maybe I'll take another couple cuts, and then we'll let it cool off, and we'll check it again. Another 15. I did go back and try some oil on the part as I was cutting. Bring the crap out of the way. So we'll finish this cut, we'll take another measurement, let it cool off, and we'll start working on it. Keep at it. So we're getting pretty close, folks. Alright. Let's get a measurement. Some of this junk out here. Whoa. Let's go this way. Okay. So we are at 1570, well, 80, 89, looks like. No. It's the fun part. Gotta remember. So let's see, 157, 8, 84. 1584. Right. Just for grins. Let's see what our guessometers say. 1585. All right, so we're close. We're actually within 20 thousandths now. So I want to let this cool off, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. My micrometer on my 1-inch gauge is reading spot on. So the micrometer's right. Guess the meters are wrong. I'm sure everyone is surprised to hear that. So let's come back in here and Tom, Mr. I'm not very good with a micrometer, getting some practice today. So what I'm reading now is 1 inch 5/78. Yeah. Because I'm on, well actually what I'm reading is 5/78.5. So you guys take a look at that. Those of you who are better at this than me. 1 inch 5/78.5, right? So now my question is do I really trust my lathe or trust my skills today on this close tolerance stuff? So if I'm at 5, all right. Yeah. So that's got me, if I'm reading this right, at 1 inch 5/69.5. And I want to get to 1 inch 5/65. So I don't trust myself on the cutting part of it. I'm going to creep up on it. For the shaky cam, I ran out of space on the other camera and I just decided to pull my iPhone out and do it this way. So as you can see, got the arbor set up. It's ready to go. This part of it's good. Now I just got to work on the clamping mechanism and how it's going to keep it in there. And we're good to go, but it's solid. I mean, it just, see if I can do this one-handed. It gets on there, but you know, you got to have it just right, which is, you know, that's the way I wanted it. So, you know, there's the clearance, and then you get that last little bit in there. So, yeah, that's good. That's, you know, should give me a nice solid way of holding the rotor while I'm, or the hub, while I'm machining the rotor off. Right, I've got to machine this down. I've got to flatten this surface. And then we'll be cutting a back plate to go on it. So it's got to go over this, so I've got to take this part down, right? So you got to bring this, machine this down, yeah, flatten all this, smooth that out. Second piece goes on, bolts in place. That would be the Blue Hands video method of strengthening this flange so that we can then re-drill this as a 5-bolt pattern instead of a 4-bolt. So that's the machining operations, and that's why I needed to have this in place, because frankly, the way I was holding it just wasn't going to cut it. Well, there you have it. We're making good progress on that mandrel. Next steps are to machine that bushing and do some threading so we can bolt everything into place and hold it good and tight, but more importantly, true to the mandrel and the true to the center on that, and in a repeatable process, because I got to do a bunch of these breaks, so got to be able to do it right. Anyways, thank you again for watching. Appreciate it. If you get a chance, drop a comment. I'm sure there's always ways to do things better. Thanks, everyone.